Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first Creating in Fortnite live stream official. I am here, Shane Meyer, the newest creator, community manager over at Epic Games, to host this first one alongside my wonderful compadre, Josh. Please take it away, Josh.
Yeah, I'm Josh, creator evangelist on the UEFN and creative team. And Shane and I are joined with JT from the Docs and Learning team. He's going to be taking us through how to use templates and tell us all his secrets, right?
Some of them.
Some of
A
his
man's got
secrets.
to keep his secrets. Awesome. Yes, and we'll give I guess a couple of intros here. So, JT, could you give us just a little bit of a blurb here for our crowd on kind of a bit about your background and what you've been doing here at Epic for some time?
Well, I've been in the industry since 2012. I'm currently an educational game designer for Epic. What I do is I create educational templates, design examples, and other information that can be used by creators to kind of expand their own expertise, see how things are built, and kind of use that information to integrate into their own projects.
So a lot of what people see when they see the work that you do, JT, it's inside of the tools themselves where they kind of pull out those templates and are given direction by you, right?
Yes, these actually live within the game itself. You can create your own template islands from Fortnite Creative. You can also do it within UEFN, and I will be showing that process in a little bit here.
Yeah, we're super
Awesome.
excited to see it. JT will be walking us through bit by bit each of them. So whether you're on creative or you're on UEFN, there'll be something here for everyone. So we're super excited to kick it off. With that, Josh, was there anything else we want to talk about right at the get go, or should we just dive in?
Now let's dive in. And then after JT is done showing us everything, we have some housekeeping to keep the community up on, but we'll get to that at the end.
Cool. And if anybody has any questions for JT, feel free and put them in chat. We'll be collecting them and answering what we can near the end of the conversation so we can hopefully address some of the cool questions y'all got.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, with that, we'll jump to JT. JT, for just the beginning here, sounds like you're going to give us kind of just an intro to what templates are for those who don't know.
Yes. Basically, the idea of a template is that it is a basically a fully built level, only that we use both instructional tutorial documents alongside them, and we also create a template that's fully functional, but with additional billboards within them that you can use to see how these devices are broken down, how they're brought together, and kind of pull the curtain back, the veil on how these design decisions are made and how the level actually operates from kind of a higher and more focused level.
Right. And creators can use these templates to go and take them as a base, right, and turn them into their own games.
Yes, the devices are fully working in them. The level itself, you can do whatever you'd like. We have the base level as an example, just to show you what it could look like. But obviously, you can use these mechanics to create anything you'd like. One of the ones I'm going to be showing is the parkour elimination templates, which is one that you can create your own parkour experience with very easily, and integrate the components in it that teleports them around and makes it work.
Awesome.
Sweet. We're excited to check it out. With that, yeah, let's take it away. Let's take a look deeper into how these templates work in the game, JT.
Okay. So we have here the Golden Rift, which all creators are probably quite familiar with. But
Of
when you go
course.
in here, you can go to Create New, and there's also Template Islands. Template Islands have all of the templates that we have made. You can click through them to see what they're about. We also have the Create a Parkour Elimination Race, which is the one we'll be looking at today.
Do you have any
And you just
favorite
create
templates,
it.
JT?
I like this one because that's one that I made personally. I'm trying to
Oh.
make something original.
Love it.
But a lot of them are really great and they're worth a look. It's hard to pick a favorite. Another good one is Creature Rush, which is kind of a wave of attacks you go through with some narrative
Mhm.
elements. That one's also interesting. But we also have ones that are based on popular game mechanics like Prop Hunt, in case you want to see how
Yeah,
to make a prop hunt and kind of build your own level and go through it that way. You
I'm gonna
just
have to
go in
check that
here
out.
and set the portal to where you'd like to go.
Cool.
And there it is in all its majesty.
Just run through.
How's everyone doing in chat today? We see a lot of friendly faces. Thanks for joining us on our first official Creating It in Fortnite live stream. We're so happy to have y'all. All right, and we're in.
So you start out, and this is an example of a billboard. It's explaining the purpose of the coin being spawned here. It is used at the very end of the templates in order to purchase a weapon. This is a parkour elimination race, which means that you run through the level, going through parkour challenges, and trying not to get eliminated by the lava down below. It uses a lot of things such as moving props around, and one of the things that is nice is that although you can fly through here to see all of these, we also have handy arrows to point out anything that might be hidden from normal sight, like this
Mhm.
important mutator zone, which is done to teleport everyone post race when there is a winner who gets up top. You have 30 seconds to catch up and get to them, or you are just brought there with no weapon. It's a little chaotic.
We love
But
chaos.
one of the perks, yes, one of the perks to this is that you can actually play the game without the billboards. You know, they're not
Oh
going to
wow.
obstruct it. This, as I said, this is fully functional. So you go through here, and like any of these templates, you can run in and grab. Normally, I'm a
Oh,
little
nice.
better at that jump.
So can you toggle the billboards, JT, or is it more so just when you're playing they go away?
Majority of them go away when you're playing,
Mm,
but there is some. You know, it doesn't hurt to have them on there just in case you want. Would rather explore the level you know on foot.
Right.
that's cool. Ooh, I love that. So dangerous.
And then we
Classic
have
floor
some
is
of the
lava.
moving platforms.
And so what would the benefit be for a creator starting out to hop into one of these rather than starting from scratch?
Well, mostly it's the billboards, which show both design decisions, like, for example, this arrow to help people navigate around and not get too confused on where to go in the parkour race.
Mhm.
Right.
And it also shows mechanics that are done.
So if
So they could
somebody
hop in
opens
here.
one of
Oh,
these
go ahead.
yeah. Oh, no, you go ahead, Josh. I think we were going
Oh,
the
they
same
they
way.
they they could hop in here and change the design around, make it look to like whatever theme they want. They can change the props that are moving and all of that, but the
Yes.
core Death Run
This is
mechanics would still stay the same.
this is just the design example that I made to show it fully functional. Um, it isn't super hard because the point of this was not to make a really hard game. It
I
was
think you're just
to
a master at parkour.
Yeah. Well, I love this because so essentially they can load this up and then just add a whole bunch of, extra chaos to it. Just if it were me and I'm newer to create, for example, creative, I would dive in and then just kind of play with different things I could add to it to kind of get a feel. And then also seeing the way that you've constructed this, get ideas for what I could do too. So they're so, so, so
here we
valuable. We really
see the
appreciate it.
mechanic where once you get up
Oh.
here, you can see the battle will start in some seconds. If anyone else is present in the map struggling to get through the parkour, they have time to get in here. And each weapon is better. Once you pick it up, you can't buy another one because you only have one coin. So the last one in or the
Mm,
last one to rush in when the battle starts will be, you know, getting the worst of the shotguns. You can see this little arena built here for classic shotgun combat, which you like to have high ground and to jump around.
Hmm.
You can go as high as you'd like. It's the first to 10. After you get 10, they are declared the winner and the
mm.
template ends.
I like 10. That's a
Awesome.
good number. And question
Yeah.
for you from Chat JT, just to double check, this was made entirely in Creative, correct? Not UEFN?
Yes, this was made entirely in Creative. It's also using the non-direct event bindings, so it's still using signals. We have some of them that we made just to show multiple ways of building it. Although we were going to have some in the future that show off the strength of direct event binding a lot more thoroughly.
Cool.
Very cool.
And
How
so
long
we
does
have
it typically take you to build one of these? Just curious.
Couple weeks at least.
Nice.
There's a lot of iteration going through. I mean, you have to build a full functional level with all the devices working. You have to populate it with billboards. And there is another very important part of this, which is that this is actually a two-stage educational. If you can pop off my screen for a moment here,
Hmm. Oh,
I
yeah, that's
can
right.
show
Show us
you.
the doc.
Yeah, okay.
We love documentation.
Yes. I'll let you know
Hello,
when I
hello,
have that
everyone.
up.
Mel Gibson is saying they've used UEFN their whole life. You know? If the past few months feels like a whole life, I definitely relate.
Okay,
yeah,
ready to show off.
Tom, that is made with channels, but uh, it will be converted over to direct binding, like everything else once we make that switch.
Yes. And once my screen's back up, I can give you a quick overview of the tutorial. Basically, within the actual template itself, it has everything working, all the devices, and some high concept billboards. But if you want to get more into the nitty gritty, including how the entire level was created, we have this. It's got a handy little thing on the side to show it, and it goes through all of the devices that were used. As
Wow,
you can see,
such
all the
detail.
teleporters, how everything under the hood works clearly. And I can show you in here that we generally, ooh, I won. Put all of our, here, there we go. So this is an example of our showcase of the devices themselves.
Oh, wow, they're just sitting out there? That's
Oh,
cool.
nice.
This is a good practice, keeping all of the things that are invisible to the players in one spot for easy adjustment.
Hmm.
Wow.
These are the item granters for the shotgun. We have some HUD messages. The triggers that operate the teleporters. We use the player reference device to get around some of the communication needs. And this is also used to eliminate everyone in the arena once the timer's out in case they get stuck. Then they'll respawn upstairs. The respawn will move up to the giant tower up there once the game is in the second stage. So everyone
Cool.
in there will have 30 seconds of no shooting. That's what the mutator zone is for. And then once the mutator zone drops, that's when it's a free for all.
And so just to double check, every template island that we have in here is set up in this way where you can find these devices separate from the map itself so you can check it out?
Yes. As you can see,
Awesome.
we put in giant little pointer arrows.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
follow the arrow. The You can see them, through the walls in edit mode, and it shows you everything, relevant to see.
Awesome. Yeah. So keep an eye out for those
Cool.
arrows. Fantastic.
Yes, some of the arrows are pretty far away depending on the map, but we try
And
to keep it
so
centralized as much as possible.
we've got parkour here. I'm curious, what other genres do we cover with our templates? Do you think you could walk us through, just for anyone in the chat who hasn't like used any of these before, and maybe they have a game they want to make, and we already have done some of the steps for them.
Sure, I can look through some of them. Let me go back to the lobby.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's a great question. Has anyone in chat used one of the templates before? Curious to hear. Have they helped you in your journey? See a lot of people in here that I know build really cool stuff all the time. I'm curious if you've poked around and utilized this awesome content and if it's helped you. Oh man. I really want to check out the prop hunt one. Have you used them before, Josh? Just curious.
I have. I helped make the racing template, so I've used
Oh,
that one. But when I was a creator, me and my team found the search and destroy template really useful. We were able to just copy and paste the mechanics to our own map, and we had a working search and destroy, and we could just focus on building a really cool competitive layout. So it made the process super quick. It had all the
nice.
items and uh, search and destroy mechanics set up. It was really easy.
So
Awesome.
here's
Oh,
one
we've
of the
got.
ones. Yeah, this is one of the ones that's more unique. Designing a creature rush. This one is where
Ooh,
you go through defeating minions with a bit of a narrative flair to it. We have classics like a mini royale battle here,
Nice,
free for all game. We also have a team deathmatch in here, of course. Hoverboard race, which is nice. We also
nice.
have an elimination game where the classic where when you get an elimination, you get a new gun, and the first one to get to the top gun wins. That one, I'm sure many people would like to expand on. We have the prop hunt game, which works as the standard for prop hunts.
Uh,
Zone wars games, we have those. We have wave defense, where you get to fight increasingly dangerous waves buying turrets through use of the sentry to kind of eliminate them. And you also get to use your own cannon during it, so you have a bit of your own flair. But we also have access to resources. I know that this one is quite popular. It's in the
why don't we hop
furniture
in this
prop
one? I
gallery.
like this one.
Yeah,
Your
sure.
favorite, Josh?
Yeah, this one's made by the lovely Wirt Andrew.
Oh,
Yes,
that's awesome.
great
Shout out
creator.
to Word Andrew.
Hmm.
Also, by the way, we have some great comments in here. Let's see. So the Rocket League template mechanics helped them a lot. We've got
Yes, that's on
let's
the
see, one of
bottom
the
right
first
here.
maps was search and destroy. Nice. Did domination template. Used Word's furniture one in the past, but not one of the proper
Oh, this
ones.
one is definitely our biggest, which is a dungeon crawler game where you progress from within a
Ooh,
prison and you try to escape through it, full of boss battles and encounters, finding keys. Very classic experience. It's our largest by far, but it does show you, like the full breadth that can be done with that.
That's
awesome.
awesome. Anyone who follows me
Yeah.
on Twitter knows that I love dungeon crawlers and have been begging creators to dig into that genre.
I saw
Yes.
one not too
Sometimes
long
it
ago,
takes
I
a
know.
I keep seeing awesome verse boss fights that just
Yes.
it's killing me. I'm like, I need a full
Oh yeah,
map.
I'll be getting into
Please.
some verse a bit later. This is just basic
Can't
creative
wait.
at the moment.
Yeah, no, this is so helpful. And Duos with Dad also pointed out something great. Use them for mechanics when I first started.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
great for, basically every part of creation to just jump in here
Yeah,
if you're
it's meant that you
new
can
and get an
just
idea.
it's meant that you can take using the tutorial primarily any part of it you would like. Like if you want to see how a certain thing was done in the templates, you can use the billboards to intuit it if you'd like, and you can use the tutorial document alongside of it. And this
Yes.
one is the furniture gallery, where
I
How
was
does a
about to
creator
say.
use this?
populating. Yeah, this is probably the most used template for a lot of people, especially the high end ones who may not need the walkthroughs of basic mechanics, because this is always useful just to find theme things grouped together. And what you do is you just grab them in here, and what happens is these persist when you go back to the map you want to put them in. So you can grab up to 8 at a time, and you can take it back to your map, and you can place them in your own creative level. That is the intended use. And he's got some teleporters here, to show other stuff.
We
Awesome.
got some
And
agreement in chat. This is so
technically you
helpful.
can
Yes.
grab 800 at a time, right? Because you can hot bar multi selects.
Yes, yes. I just meant 8 per hard bar.
Yeah. So it's like a furniture
And
store.
yes, exactly. And word Andrew is continuing to expand on this and add more of them, and we keep it updated for him.
That's
I
awesome.
believe he's somewhere in here. He had a version. I'm not sure where he put it.
Jay Sanders says,
Oh,
yeah,
he's
we
up
use
to.
it
It
to
looks
go
like he's
furniture shopping.
yeah. He's up to version 7.
Oh, he's even
Looks like
got
he
patch
added
notes.
Slappy Snores. Yeah, exactly. Whenever he updates the map and we update the template, we just move the version for him.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you pop out of my view now, I can bring up the UEFN side of things.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much
Great.
for walking us through the creative side. And I know we've got some UEFN people in here who only know UEFN, it sounds like. So they'll be pleased to see that there's also more
Yes.
templates and get that walkthrough. So, yeah, let's dive in. Oh, it would be nice one day for you to do a gun game tutorial. Question for you, JT. Where's the best, if anyone has any feedback on templates, and even if it might be a different process for creative and versus UEFN, but where's a great place to like share that feedback with you? Is that the forums or?
I am on the forums as Assault Weasel.
Oh, oh,
That is
beautiful.
my yeah, that is my name in the game. I know this for friending me, but please don't do that at the moment because locks my screen. Save that for later.
Yes, yes. So if you have any feedback on this, feel free, go in there. There is a feedback category in the forums, and then you can tag Assault Weasel if it has something specific
Yes,
to do with this stuff. And I'm sure it sounds like JT would be glad to help or answer any questions you have about this.
yes, I would.
Just like most of our developers, we have actually quite a few on the forums right now. I know we've got Discord, we've got Reddit, we've got Twitter. We're all over the place, but the forums, the EDC forums, are the best place to get in contact with developers, give them your feedback on things, but also ask questions like, "Hey, I'm trying
Yes.
to do X or Y. How do I accomplish that? Maybe you need some help with verse or something. We're there to help." So definitely utilize that as a source. And we'll be walking through that a bit later too, as a refresh as well.
Okay. Second here. So we can pop back
Uh,
to my screen to see the verse. No, sorry,
Cool.
the UEFN.
Donnie says it would be really cool to see some kind of programming tutorials. Just as a heads up, Donnie just posted it a few minutes ago, but we're going to have an AMA in the EDC forums all about programming and scripting with some of our
Oh
wonderful
yeah,
devs. So check out that post.
if you want to see some verse programming stuff, definitely stick around for later in the stream too,
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
because I'll be calling out
That'll be
some
exciting.
amazing resources just to make sure everyone knows that they're available.
Thank you,
But
JT.
we
It's
go
a
to
help.
features examples, and around here we have some basic tutorials with verse integrated. These are not with the full size levels. They're more showing the basic functionality. These are kind of more ways to show off the verse script. Like we'll go to the elimination template here. You just click it from feature examples. You can change it to whatever you'd like. Oh, and you can't use spaces, of course.
Loading, loading, loading. We love you too, David. How's everyone doing today? Welcome to the first official Creating in Fortnite live stream. We're just diving into UEFN if you're just tuning in with us to check out the templates over here. And this is the verse programming templates we have that JT is pulling up right now.
This looks awesome.
Yes.
I haven't been
So
in
It
this
this.
is the
does.
elimination one.
Beautiful. Oh,
Wow.
Very cool level to showcase it. It's kind of a mini arena. It supports 2 players, so you can test out the mechanics. It does have billboards with the high level overview, and we do have a tutorial companion document for this. but I'm sure what some people are interested in is the actual verse part of this. And you can
Ooh,
open the
there it
project in
is.
VS Code, and you can see that all of the verse code is
Mm.
fully in here and fully commented
Oh
Wow.
wow.
of how they got this to work. And you can span that. In this case, they only did it with 4 guns, and the guns will randomly be assigned instead of always being progressively assigned. But other than
Mm.
that, it's a standard game where you eliminate, you get a new gun. Once you go through all 4 guns, you win.
Just to double check, JT, is the device verse script that you just showed us, is that located all in our snippets on EDC? Is that where they can also just find code examples of devices and things that you've written in tutorials, or is that totally separate? Just to double check.
It's separate, but I will be showing the link to find all of that information in a little bit.
Cool.
Cool.
But yeah, this is we have a few of these. We also have a tutorial for animation 101, which you can do to learn how to do the animations. Um,
Yes, I've
And
seen that one. That
so
one's really cool.
if I
yes,
wanted
I highly
to
recommend animation 101.
if I wanted to take this and make my own custom gun game with it, what would be my best steps? Do I stay in this map? Am I able to take the verse and move it to a different map that I've made?
I would take the components, the verse code, the verse device, and the item granters, and bring it to a new map along with Mr. Endgame device over here, and
Okay,
uh, you can just put it in your own level. That's the reason
cool.
that we didn't build a fully functional level, is that this is intended to be a springboard. You take the
Right.
mechanics,
So I can
and
just
then
select Control C, copy and paste into
yeah,
my next level.
and you can hold down Shift to grab all of them at once if you'd like, and then just drop it
Cool.
right in, and then
Wow,
migrate
that
over to the
makes it
first
so
game.
easy.
And it'll work.
So, as
I'll have a gun game.
With only 4 weapons, but
Won't be the most
you can
fun
easily
gun
add a
game, but
lot
I'll have
more.
one.
That's a little brief, but you know,
depends on the weapons.
And if I wanted to
you can.
add more
We
weapons,
this was just showing 4 of them.
yeah.
We're gonna have you can add 10, 20, 25, 30. It supports it, and they'll all be randomly assigned. So that does have the issue of how the progression normally goes from strong guns to weak guns. You can remove that
Mm.
entirely and make all of the weapons on par, and it's just a
Mhm.
random roll of the dice which of the guns you get, which is a pretty interesting randomization. And this is an example of something that can only be done in Verse. There's no creative equivalent for doing this, even with the UEFN devices. Because Verse is a very powerful tool to add your own, custom mechanics into games like this.
So if I was someone who was just starting out, JT, would you recommend the first thing I do is try out one of the template islands, get a feel for maybe or even just pull up an island and then start building out something on it? And then if I wanted to say find or define the gameplay as a gun game, I would then go in here, take some of these this code in these devices and then copy and paste them in there, and that would be how I start creating my own version of a gun game if I was brand new.
That is one way to start, and the great thing is that we
Mm,
have many resources, so you can do whichever one
mm.
you prefer. Some people like to dive into it, and just figure it out as they tinker around. But if you pop off my screen for a moment here, I can bring up some links for other resources just to make sure people are all aware of them.
Oh, yes. Thank you. We would love that. Yeah, I know there's some nervousness around UEFN for people who haven't even tried creative and also people who have tried creative just because of how much you can do and how much power it does have. So it's really good to kind of visualize like, hey, there are some really easy stepping stones to get you into it and playing around and creating something pretty quickly with all these resources. So it's so helpful.
Right. So if you go back to my screen here, we have amazing verse writers and verse users, and this is one of the things that they've created for the community. I hope they're sending a link to this base page through the chat because it is great to look at. You can see that these ones are different in that they do not have integrated templates, but they do have all of the steps you need to go through and create your own using
Okay.
entirely UEFN, which people were quite interested in doing. Like this one's just capture the flag. It
Ah.
goes through
And this is
all the
all
minutia
just
for
Nice.
through
it.
documentation.
Yes, this is documentation that goes through how to create the mechanics in UEFN. We also have the ever popular box fight. This is a great introductory into it because box fight is not the most complicated of them. There's also some resources on adding devices, linking devices, capture the flag, car racing, and there's also the reason I showed the parkour elimination race in the first one is there is a UEF equivalent. So you could build this within UEF also. So
Ah.
if you would like to try those mechanics out within UEFN, we have a full tutorial for that. Very
Cool.
thorough. And this one does have, some people might prefer to build their whole level from scratch instead of using the baseline one. There won't be any billboards or anything in it, so you can just take this and kind of go through it step by step, adding all of the elements that you would personally like. And we also have the very cool time trial Pizza Pursuit, which is going through and gathering resources of escalating speed. Um, it's a pretty fun one. And this one, the verse people could call out because it shows the verse language features used here, the APIs
Ah.
used. Gives a basic rundown of the steps, and we have multiple links to go and break down each part of getting this level working.
This is
Cool.
so
So for
cool. And
someone,
JT, oh.
I was just gonna say, for someone wanting to learn verse, this is kind of a cool way to start. You can set up a full
Yes,
game, and it walks you through exactly
if
what
you
you need to
would
do. And
If you would like to see a finished template that works, you can use the ones built into UEFN. We are hoping to populate that with many more in the very near future, but these also exist so that you can learn the mechanics at your own pace, building your own level. Another great one to look at is the Learn Game Mechanics. This one, the pure Verse people might like because it shows you how to do certain things within Verse, like creating an in-game UI. You can do a lot of
mm,
really cool things with that, as it's showing you. It has the verse code snippets in it.
Awesome.
So this one, anyone who's interested in UEFN or maybe past the beginner stage and wanting to get a little deeper into it, they have custom countdown timers that can do a lot of things that the base device cannot do, which is a great strength of UEFN, is that you can expand on devices to get them to do things that they cannot in creative. You can add all kinds of things to them that are missing. Uh, it's one of the biggest strength of Verse, I think, and it will be a great door to making maps with mechanics that have little limit beyond your ability to code Verse, like disappearing platforms on a loop will make platforms that rush around and
Mm.
disappear. Here's ones where you can touch them, classic Mega Man and other
right.
Metroidvania and games like that, where you touch them and then they disappear. So you got to jump around in
Oh, I
time.
love these games.
Yes,
They look
these are
Fall
nice.
Guys.
showing. Yeah, these are showing how to create those mechanics in Verse. So this is I would look at this entire uh, document if you want to see a lot of what you can do in UEFN and Verse.
Cool. And
Because
just to clarify for the chat, we had a question that the project for Capture the Flag. Do we have an in-game template for Capture the Flag at all, or is that one solely just documentation, build it from scratch, following these steps?
that one is documentation, but if people would really prefer to have a loadable template, that's the kind of feedback we'd love to hear in the forums. We can
Awesome.
try to see if we have the bandwidth to create and add those. Using the same tutorial documents, just having a preset level that demonstrates it along with billboards, because they're great. They're great companion documents. Having this full breakdown of how to build it from scratch, but also having a working example to see it in practice, or perhaps you're having a little problem getting something to work through this and you want to see it in action. That's another great strength of the templates. You can go there, look at how it works, and be like, oh, I see what they did here, and then that'll hopefully help you with learning how to do it yourself.
Just to double check, JT, because I know there's so much good information on this site and there's quite a few areas to find it. We have, as you were showing, there was snippets of verse inside of the documentation you were showing just now here. But I also see, we have the snippets category over on the left sidebar for the website too. Are those snippets far left? It's like a little bit. It's
Ah,
There we
snippets.
go.
yeah, right there. Sorry, I was like, can't send any signals. But these are like community snippets that are created as well. But is
Yes.
there anything else kind of you to call out in terms of the difference between the ones that you have in the documentation and the ones here?
Well, the documentation for here, we do have, a great introduction series of getting started
Mm.
in UEFN period, and
Hmm.
also a great one on learning verse from scratch. Like his modifying and running your very first verse project right here. It'll use the verse starter template, which this one is
Nice.
intended to use. So this is one of the
Hmm.
fully working ones that has a level and some documentation, and it will go everything you need to know, even how to open up, these very handy debug logs. I'm sure anyone in creative would love to have something that had debugs. It's very useful.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
It
Thank you.
has
This is so
all of the
helpful. Yeah, to just
things.
kind of show all of it. I mean, there's really quite the expanse. And for those that might think it's a little bit overwhelming, there's so much. I mean, definitely take it one
Yes,
step at a time. There's a lot here, but just in the getting started
yes,
section, which we'll go over later, it kind of just starts you right at the top. So if you're nervous,
yes.
you can
And we
start
also
there.
have the great cat instruction videos and other things, basic
I actually
programming
haven't seen
terms.
these. I don't know how they
Yes,
eluded me.
these all have our little cat here showing everything to do with verse.
That's wonderful.
And this is
Oh
That's
my
great to
amazing.
start
goodness.
in. And we go through multiple lessons. It's a full lesson plan here. You
Wow.
can go through it. We go all the way up to
That's
lesson 8. And there's also great little
beautiful.
reference guides.
Yes.
There's also great
Question
little code style guides.
Question for chat. Have any of y'all used the verse documentation yet? How has it helped you so far? How do you feel so far about verse? Would love to hear your thoughts too. Thank you for walking us through this, JT. This is immensely helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad
And
to put
while
it
we're
on
here,
people's radar.
JT, I do see some talk in the chat about video tutorials. The EDC does feature some video tutorials that we have made and then also that the community has made. Do you mind
Yes.
hopping over to the learning section just so we can show those off?
Yes, we have lots of these other tutorials in here. This one is great for new people, your first hour in UEFN series. It's an hour and 17 minutes. It has a lot of
What does
videos
this
in
take
here,
you
as
through?
you can see. Yeah, your first hour, basically, like, let's say you're not familiar with Unreal Editor, and you want to know how everything works. This is for people brand new to it, maybe people making the absolute first transition from creative to
Mm.
UEFN, and they would like to know the questions for the very basics, everything it is capable of, and all the things that you can do in UEFN, how to go through the editor.
Right.
It's a great resource for those tutorials.
Got a lot of people saying it has. It's helped. I use it every day. It's a little
Yes.
confusing coming from C sharp. That's fair. There is definitely differences for sure. Very, very useful.
Yes.
Oh, and all caps. Very nice. And they've watched lots of those videos, which nice. I'm so glad that's helping. That's great.
Yeah.
Good question
People
from
put a lot of work into
Apple.
those videos.
Do you happen
Sure.
to know, JT, if it's translated into other languages? That I'm not sure.
I believe actually we are looking into the possibility of closed captioning that
Mm,
can be
mm,
translated.
okay.
I'm not sure where that is. I'm not involved in that, but I think that might be a possibility. If we get enough, positive feedback in the forums that they'd love something like that, I'm sure that would, help a lot with that.
Right.
Yeah, definitely a great call out. And again, just for those who are tuning in as of late, our forums are the place to be. If you have any feedback about these tutorials, any thoughts, you just want to give JT a shout out, please utilize our EDC forums. JT is there as it was assault squirrel.
Assault weasel.
Did I kill it?
Assault
Weasel.
weasel. Yes.
Wrong animal.
Squirrels are
Assault
great too,
weasel.
though.
In my mind, I was like, it's something furry. So, but
Yeah.
definitely utilize the forums to reach out to JT. We have question categories, we have feedback categories, and then you can call him out with at Assault Weasel to share your feedback or thoughts. But this is so fantastic. Thank you so much, JT.
And there's one more educational resource I would love to make sure
Oh,
people
great.
are aware of.
Oh, please.
I'm
Yes,
sure that
please.
people know about this, using devices that goes through the minutia of how they work, and it gives hints. This is great for learning them, and it's kind of the equivalent of like learning a programming language and seeing all the possible functionality of it. And through this you can try to figure out how to work it. But we went one step further and we made what we call
Mm.
design examples. And what we do
Oh, wow.
is we created little movies that show off simple things. Like this one is for the remote device, Signal Remote Manager. And this is showing like an opportunity to have a door that you can only open with certain remotes. Maybe there are certain
Ooh.
classes, perhaps in some kind of PvP game, and there's a shortcut that like maybe the scouts can use, but nobody else can.
Right.
Like that's one of the options here. And below this, we go over all of the basic device work on how to create this functionality, and we have some tips on other ways you can use it. Like we also have one
Mm.
here, just kind of neat. They're shooting at phantom enemies at the moment here, but they can teleport themselves to a restocking room,
Yeah.
and then they can grab everything they need from here, and then they can re-enter the fray. This takes them back to the assault point, because you can
Wow.
use two different functions on the Signal Remote Manager. So you can have
Right.
a restocking place entirely off the grid, that's safe, no shooting each other. You go there, you grab new weapons. Maybe if it's one of the ones that use gold as a currency, to use vending machines. This could be a great way to do that within the map and not have to wait until you're eliminated to do it. So that staying alive could actually be an important aspect of it long term. Then we have all of those. And this one's neat. It's kind of a the video doesn't seem to be working. I thought it was. This one is how to use remote hacking to disable entire buildings by hitting the button, which
Ah.
is got some interesting possibility there to
Uh,
like have a hacker who can shut down a building's defenses, like sentries, or make the doors unlocked, make the lights go out, things like that.
and JT, just to double check, how did you get to this section? It's kind of hard to see in the sidebar right now, but how did you get in
The
this area? Was it the using devices
using
area?
devices.
Okay, cool.
We are
Yeah.
actively working to populate more and more of these. This, of course,
Mm.
are not the only ones. Our goal is to eventually, have them on all of them. That would
So
be what we'd like.
whenever a new device is added in Creative, it'll pop up in here or UF, and the documentation would be in the, I guess, the specific tools documentation underneath that.
Yes, when we get new devices, we add them here and we go through the same process of breaking down all of the individual functionalities of it.
Awesome.
Great.
And that is done as they're released. And you can see we have quite a lot of them,
Yeah.
but not all of them. There's a lot of them to go through, and it takes some work. Not all of them have design examples yet. But like here's another one. Shows you how to make a moving door if you want to create custom doors with a prop mover. You can have it wait a few seconds to start, and then the door just goes open.
Ooh,
Wow.
So that's
unleash
one thing
them.
you can do. Yes, and then there's others
This
where
is
you can create
so
like a whole entire obstacle course,
Oh. So
which is sort of an
these are awesome for when a new device comes out and people need ideas
yep.
on how to use them.
Yes,
Mhm.
these are bare bones. There's no levels associated with them that you can access. The ones that I made for these movies, we don't have anywhere for creators to use. But they're so simply made that it shouldn't be a
Right.
hindrance
And
with
you
the
walk
tutorial
through. You
companion.
walk through exactly how to make them.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the videos are for. That is
Yeah.
Yeah,
a showcase of how it works.
that's beautiful.
And we have a lot of these, and even in general, this is a great resource, um, just to go through and look at all the devices. And it's a great way to get inspiration on maybe seeing like a functionality that is not used super often, and then you can try to develop new game modes or other things from that.
I noticed there's some feedback when we have a new update, such as today, where there is a new device that has been added, and then a lot of people say, "Hey, it sounds great. I just haven't been able to even check out or see what these things can do." So this is a
Mhm.
great place. As soon as an update comes out, jump here, look for the name of it, look for the name of the device, click on it, check it out. And with these examples, that's excellent, JT. That really, really helps alleviate that pain point I think some creators may have.
Yes, but this is a process we're still actively working on, and I would
Mm,
love to call out to the community to say devices that are missing them that you would like it,
mm,
or even standards for creating new ones. If you guys want to see all of the immediately new devices and what they can do, that is completely possible if that is what the community wants. We're really hoping to use these as another point of education and experience to show little snippets of all the devices in ways that are not quite too standard in how to use them. Like I know that some people had issues with the remote signal manager. It's a little
mm,
um, not obvious the kind of strength it has.
Right.
mm.
Well, this is great.
Yeah, and if you do have any requests, just like JT was saying, if you go on our forums, our EDC forums, you can select the category general feedback and requests, and then add in there, I believe there's all sorts of tags. Let's see, documentation you can add as the optional tag, and then just go ahead and put your requests and ideas in there. Feel free to tag Assault Weasel or myself or Jag.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yes.
that way we can collect those recommendations and have them to be upvoted and liked and stuff too.
Please.
Outside design examples, another thing I would love for the community to give us is what kind of new templates they want, new game modes they might like to see broken down,
Mm,
um, which ones they'd like to have companion documents for. And going forward, of course, we're doing direct event binding, and we're going to be upgrading our old ones to that.
Mhm.
So it will be to the current state of creative. So if there's
awesome.
any kind of gameplay mode that you are itching to see in practice with all of this accompanying documentation, please tell us on the forums, and we would, really appreciate that feedback.
Definitely,
Absolutely.
definitely.
We've
Post it
already
on the
heard
forums,
two.
everyone.
Yeah, we've already heard two great suggestions: a capture the flag and a gun game. We'd love to hear more.
We do have both of those, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
elimination game.
JT's got us. He's like, done, done, and done.
You're way ahead of it.
Yeah,
He
the
actually just made
elimination
it
game
while we were doing this.
is
Yeah.
yeah, it is one of the more popular game modes out there. So of course we added that um, a bit
Sweet.
ago, and that has the
See?
tutorial and the breakdown of how to do it. But I'm like, if you have those questions, I can happily point them out to you on the forum where those resources are, if we already have them, and if not, and then, enough of the community is really hoping to do it, we can definitely like put that on our priority list and explore being able to make it for you guys.
Yes, thank you so much, JT. Y'all hear that? Share your thoughts, share your needs, things like that on the forums. We're paying attention. We are reading them. We're checking them. Upvote like things
Mhm.
that you agree, so we can just keep track of the wants and needs. And also, I've been nervous to call it out because we've been deceived so many times before. But I believe Tim Sweeney is in chat. So hello, Tim. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for everyone asking questions. If is really Tim, I I just never know sometimes. So, but he hasn't been banned yet, so I'm assuming it is the Tim. So thanks for checking it out, Tim. It's good to have you. And he's asking some questions in there too. So
I've got
yeah,
an answer
cool.
for Ray. Ray asks if we have a search and destroy template. Just a little
Yes,
before you joined, I called it out, saying it's my favorite of our templates. I
his
used to use
favorite.
it all the time. It's very well made. It gives you everything you need. Copy and paste the devices to your own map and set up the level. It's awesome.
Sweet, yeah. And just so Twitch knows, Tim Sweeney is on the YouTube chat. For those looking for him, sorry about that. Thank you. Cool. What do we have anything else we wanted to cover today, JT? How are you feeling?
Let's pop out on my stream here and I can see if there's anything else.
Cool, yeah. I know we had probably some questions for you that we've been pulling from chat. We have been
Hmm.
calling out the ones that were pertinent to whatever was happening at the time, but if there was any overarching ones, I would love to address those if the mods had pulled any. But also,
Yeah,
additionally, chat, if you have any questions for JT, please let us know. We can get some of those done.
I've got one here. Is it
Ooh,
possible
ooh.
to convert 1.0 maps that were converted to UEFN back to Creative? Yes, that is
Not
possible.
currently.
It is.
Mm.
It is. In
Is it?
Creator Portal, it is.
I heard
You
it was a
can
little
go
wonky, yes.
if you go from Creative to UEFN. You can go back to Creative, but you'll lose
Mm.
everything you did in UEFN. It's basically just reverting back to the snapshot before you converted
Yes,
it.
yes. That was what
Yeah,
I meant. I meant you were more talking about, doing it, going in there, using some of the UEF things to, expand on it, and then
right.
bring that back to creative. That's a
Yeah,
different can of beans.
can't
Yeah.
do that. Uh, but if you want to do the way I explained, we have some documentation on it, uh, and I believe it's done in Creator Portal.
Heck yeah. Cool. Any other
Indeed.
questions? Let's see. We have a Tim Sweeney Q&A happening in the chat as well at the same time. So so it's
I
kind of hard
know.
to tell whose questions are for JT. JT, what is the future of UEFN? Go. Just kidding. Just
Oh,
Oh.
I'll defer to him on that one. Yeah.
That's fair.
uh,
Yeah, let's see. Any other questions? Ooh. Um Oh, I don't know if that's a question that JT can answer.
Here we go. Pre-made camera perspectives. I believe
Ooh,
we've
ooh,
Sax
good
has
one.
mentioned this one in a live stream, but we are working on a first-person mode. We know it's a priority, um, but I've
Awesome.
seen some
Yes.
really cool third-person modes using Verse and Sequencer. Uh, so keep that up.
Keep it going. Sweet. Well, if you do have any other questions for the wonderful JT, he is in our forums again under Assault Weasel. So please, please feel free. Create some questions in there. Tag us. Let us know. And I'm sure he'd love to help out when he has a moment. But thank you so much, JT. Is there anything else we want to cover in that, Josh, or should we move on to EDC stuff?
Yeah, I think we're good to move on to some housekeeping. Thanks, JT.
Okay,
Yeah. Thanks
cool.
for having me.
It was a pleasure. We hope to have you again and other members from your team. Wonderful, wonderful work coming out of that team. That's so helpful for the community. We appreciate it. Sweet. Well, with that, Dan, I will go ahead and share my screen. Hopefully, if it's working, let me know if it's not. Awesome, awesome. We're there, we're there. Thank you so much. Cool. So, yeah, just want to call out a few things happening in the community today for all those that are here. Haven't blasted out wide enough yet because I've been in this stream, but we will be doing that after introducing. We're going to start our Ask Epic Anythings up again, and it will be in our EDC forum. So, it'll be a new Fortnite Create AMA series for both UEFN and Creative, depending on the topic. We're starting out with a topic that was voted on by you, the community, in our Discord. And that one is all on programming and scripting. So if you go to the announcements section, of our forum, you will see that we have the Ask Epic Anything for programming and scripting up now. Feel free and fill out some questions. We will go live on May 24th, 9:30 a.m. PT, and it will be 12:30 p.m. ET. And yeah, we'll have the wonderful Rodney, Conan, and Ray here to chat all about programming and scripting with you. Feel free to submit questions about the feature insights they might have, overarching development guidance as a creator, any career advice you're looking for if you're looking to do more of what these humans have in their background. I'm sure they'd love to share industry questions, things like that. And of course, if you're wondering anything specifically about our guests, there's a lot of cool call outs in their bios of some great background that they have, and I'm sure they would love to share. But yeah, we are going to start doing these. We're aiming for monthly, and we're looking for any topics you all may have as suggestions. But this first one will be all about programming and scripting. So please pop in there, ask your questions. And yeah, we're looking forward to having more of these. And let's see, anything else announced? Other than that, there will be more stuff coming out in the future, but it isn't live for this live stream for me to be able to say. But I can show you a little bit more about the documentation side that we have too. So just for reiteration, we've got Fortnite Creative documentation, we've got Unreal Editor for Fortnite documentation, and Verse. And all of that can be found as well under Getting Started. So if you are new to any or all of these products, you can come in here and check out this section and just select the tab for what you're trying to dive into. So maybe after seeing this, you're like, oh, I want to get more into Verse. We've got some awesome sections all about that. So you can just get started and they'll take you to a lot of the stuff that JT showed us today, which is awesome. And then, of course, Unreal Editor, and maybe you're new to both today, and we even have Creative that we've kicked off as well. So you can go every single area and check out the different documentation there. And then once you get in there, that's where we were today when JT was walking us through. So we've got our template islands and things like that in there. And then just to reiterate, snippets. Hey, if you're making cool snippets in Verse and you want to share with the community, please do. And you can do it right here in this section. I believe it's also under learning. Snippets, were they down here? Oh, I got turned around. There's another way to get to it where it pops up to, I want to say, is it here? No, I'm wrong. You know, let's just
That's
say
okay.
there's quite a few places to find snippets. I thought I saw it under learning the other day, but maybe we moved it around. We are making some changes to make it flow a little bit more easy too. So if you have any feedback on this website, on any documentation, or on the programs themselves and tools, feel free and utilize our forums to do that. Simply go here, and then you can create a new topic. And if you have a question, you can select a question or a new discussion, and then just pop in here, any overarching category it might be. So if you want to share some feedback, you can go there. And then if it's about a specific thing, I think, for example, prefab. So prefab was one that popped up. We were able to add that tag. If you need a tag that isn't there, also make sure to make a post about it and let us know and put that in feedback and requests, and we can add tags that make sense for the larger community. So that's always very helpful. With that, I guess I'll throw it to you, Josh. I think we wanted to talk about one more thing just to make sure everyone was aware of a change that was coming for those who might not be.
Yeah. Well, first, I got another announcement. Just last week, or maybe a bit before that, we put out a request for
Oh,
presentations for the Unreal Fest 2023 in New Orleans. So we're going to be there. UEFN and Creative is going to have a presence there. We'd love to see you all there. But for now, if you have any talks that you feel like would be a great addition and you want to get up on stage and present some cool creative things or some cool UEFN things, things you learned, do a cool talk, we have a link. We sent it in the chat there, Unreal Fest CFP. So you can go and sign up and put your request in, and we'll take a look and pick some cool ones. Other
yes,
than
sounds
that,
good.
we also recently made an announcement that we are going to be switching over to direct event binding in V25. So go ahead, convert your islands, give it a shot. We've worked really hard to try and squish any bugs and get them all fixed. So if you haven't tried it since we released, I really urge you to go and try it. I love direct event binding. I use it all the time. I love it in UEFN. It's great and creative. So go convert your islands, and if you find any bugs, please, please, please report them. Bug reporting, you can reach out to me. You can make a forum post. Uh, we don't want to release it if there's some game breaking stuff. So if you know of any game breaking stuff, please let us know so that we can look into it as soon as possible.
Yes, and don't forget our bug report form too, which I think everyone should have at this point. But yeah, definitely, go to our channels, let us know. And just to double check too, Josh, with direct event binding, the positives that are around it are very, very helpful for our creators. I've heard it like streamlines the process a lot more for creation and just makes things overall smoother and easier in the long run,
Yeah,
right?
it's a super intuitive system, and we are making the conversion process seamless. So if you go and convert it right now, uh, any of your devices that were connected through channels will automatically be connected through direct event binding. They'll be renamed so that they'll have different names, like trigger one, trigger two, trigger three, and your games will work just like they did before. You don't need to go and change things unless you want to, and you want to make it more organized. You're free to go ahead and do that. Uh, but there's not too much to worry about. It's a great system, and once you give it a shot, you'll get used to it and end up loving it, just like me.
Well, always feel free to send us your feedback as well in the forums. And we also on the Discord have a direct binding channel that you can share your thoughts and feedback in as well. So make sure and do that. One last thing I do want to cover is kind of a more overarching layout of our social channels. We've made a lot of changes just in the time that I've been here. And, we want to make sure that each channel that we have is helpful in one way more than the other for each one. So it's a great ecosystem of many helpful tools. So the first one would be obviously our Twitter. That's a place to stay informed. We'll be making a lot of announcement posts there as well. You'll see a lot of us on Twitter, just kind of saying hi and rooting everyone on. And then we have the Reddit, which is usually the place where a lot of newer community members find, right? Reddit is just such a large, large platform covering so many topics throughout our universe. So our create subreddit, which I think is still called Fortnite Creative, trying to get that name changed, but I don't even know if it'll. We don't want to shake up the community too much, so we're leaving it kind of right now. But you can go in there and showcase what you're working on. Root on. A lot of creators are going there for the first time to show their content and get some opinions from the community. So that's a great place to do that. And then we have, but that is community run by our awesome Reddit mods. Just want to give them a shout out. They work hard every day to make that community a really, inclusive and fun place. Just make sure that the stuff that you're uploading is to their standards on their rules. They want to make sure things are just high quality when they end up there and natively posted there. I do know that. And then we have our official Discord, which you can go to have live chats with creators. We have a bounty board for finding people if you're looking to build out a team or get some help in a certain area. We've got feedback channels when things are hot and we're looking for feedback about certain topics. topics. We're looking for your feedback there. It's oh so helpful. We have UEFN channels, creative channels, so you can have, set it to whatever you would like and whatever preferences you have and what channels you want to be notified on. And then, of course, it's a great place for quick notifications about announcements of what's happening. The smallest of announcements are going to happen on the Discord just to make sure that y'all are informed. So it's a great place to have, even if you're just lurking. And then finally, we have, of course, like we've been talking about for quite some time, the forums. And just to reiterate, EDC forums are a place where you can go to communicate with the developers, like JT here, give feedback, ask questions if there's something you're trying to build out that you're not sure how. Our devs are there to help and talk you through it, or take that feedback and possibly integrate that in some way to help. So yeah, so just covering all those so everyone knows. We really appreciate all of you who are active. I see a lot of people in the chat that are so helpful within the community to others, and I just want to give you a special thank you for all that you do. I know people really appreciate it. A couple that I saw earlier, I know Twins in here, TIE Fighter, they work tirelessly on the Discord I see every day since I'm in there a lot. And then I don't think Wirt was here, but he was mentioned a whole lot for all the work he's done on the forums. So thank you for that. And I'm sure there's a lot of other people. So thank you. But yeah, cool. With that, I think Josh, that's it for today. We're good to go.
Okay.
Nice. Well,
Thanks
thanks all
everyone for
for
tuning in.
attending.
I can't wait to see you at
Yeah.
the next one.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much, JT, again for joining us. I know we we had a lot of setup to do, and we really appreciate your time. And thank
Yes.
you for caring enough about the community to be
Totally fine.
here.
It's great to be here.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah, thanks, JT.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we'll be back
everybody.
in a month, as we said in the chat.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Don't
All
forget to
right.
join the forums. See us in Discord, forums,
See ya.
Twitter. Bye.